I would say I'm one of the top 5% Pajama Sam likers in the world.
I would agree. I think that that's probably true. I certainly can't name anybody else I know who likes Pajama Sam more than you. And I know a lot of people.
I'm Emmi.
I'm Annie.
And welcome to our end of year extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
We've been publishing this podcast for a year.
Which is wild to think about. Very long and very short year in my life, it seems like.
Well, also because we started recording like a little over a year ago. We started like September last year, had a few episodes under our belt, and then started publishing. So it, in a way, it has been longer than that, but since it's been available for the public, for public consumption, it's been a year.
So that means we have a year to review, a year to look back on, and think about all we've accomplished and all we haven't, everything we've played, everything we maybe want to play, and all the categories in between. This also is an extravaganza because we are drinking a little bit. I have made myself a gin and tonic with a bit of elderflower liqueur in there because I love Saint Germain, and I put a cute straw in it. So cheers with this.
Cheers.
Emmi, what are you drinking?
I am drinking in my cute glass that I got from my fiance's brother's wedding, a Tinto de Verano, which I was turned on to, which is a summer drink, and I was turned on to by a friend of mine who makes it all the time for gatherings, and it's like my favorite drink now, and it's just like cheap, like the cheapest red wine you can get, Sprite, and ice. And I put in a little orange juice. I think that's what she does. She usually puts in like lemons too, but I just made it in the glass. So that's my drink.
Of summer.
Made with, honestly, I don't even know that the red wine is that cheap. It was a bottle that someone brought to our house for some reason. So it's probably better
cheap
than I...
For you.
For me. Yes, it was $0 for
That's
me.
the important thing.
Yes. Thank you to whoever brought it to our house. So cheers.
So cheers. We'll take a sip. A little ASMR.
Yeah, apologies for any clinking sounds that don't get cut out in advance.
Yeah, we'll try. I gotta say, I do not like the mouth sounds ASMR. That makes me want to cringe so bad. So this is actually, like, I'm sorry if you hear me drinking this drink. So we've come up with some categories to guide this discussion. Probably will end up all over the place, but we'll start there. And the very first category we wanted to discuss for this year, 2025, were our video game crushes of the year. And I feel like we should clarify, at least for this, it'll be on the games that we played this year.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the ones for the podcast, but they won't necessarily be games that came out this year either.
Yes, yeah. Just of the games we played this year, who were our crushes?
And I was looking over a lot of the games that I played this year. The ones for the podcast and the ones that were not for the podcast. And there were just a few very simple standouts for me. I mean, did you also review, like, your year ahead of time, or are you just, like, thinking right now about...
No, I didn't do my homework.
That's okay.
And I'm sorry in advance.
That's okay. I just need to do a throwback then. One of our early episodes was on Aviary Attorney, which is a game in the style of the Ace Attorney games, which I love, where you're playing a lawyer and you're trying to solve usually a murder mystery. One of the secondary characters in this game was Reynard Vulpes, a fox who at first presents himself as a, like, Spanish prince. He's not. He's actually, like, a very distinguished private investigator who has a heart of gold, it turns out. And he's definitely one of my top video game crushes of the year. Like, he is really important to me. It's one of the main things that really stuck with me about
Sounds like it's not just a crush. It sounds like you're in a committed relationship.
Yeah, this is like something lasting and real, perhaps. So that's one of the hats I wanted to throw in the ring. Reynard Vulpes, call me. I also do have to say that one of my crushes, because it's just top of mind, like, I've been playing this game lately, is Silksong princess herself, Hornet. She is so freaking cool.
She's so
And
cute.
I think I really felt something when I watched her. You've played The Slab, yes? We've talked about this.
Yes.
Okay, so at least that part of the game. When you watch her snap the neck of that guard who has stolen her cute little cape, like, doesn't that do things to you? Because that really worked for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I feel about her in a sort of similar way that I feel about the bourgeois kitty from Aviary Attorney.
Is that one of the ones? Are you officially, by the way, throwing that into the ring as one of your top video game crushes? Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay. Please.
Yeah. I think we should go. I think we should go back and forth with naming our crushes.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, the bourgeois kitty, whose name I can't remember, so clearly she wasn't that important to me after all. From Aviary Attorney, it was just like this little bitch kid. Like, in a positive way. Who, like, comes and needs help because she's, like, been accused. Is she on trial, or is it her? Yeah, she's on trial.
She's on trial.
And then she tricks you into being like, no, it's actually this other guy who gets, murdered. Or not murdered, but I guess, yeah, when he's not guilty, he was murdered.
Yeah, he gets killed for the crime that he didn't
not commit. And then, like, the kitty's like, oh yeah, I did actually kill that frog guy, but thanks.
Yeah, she just wanted to kill one business partner and then eliminate the other by pinning the crime on him.
And I just want to be in, like, a toxic Yuri relationship with her, I think.
Yeah. I don't wish that for you. I still don't wish that for you at all, but I understand the impression she made on you and that's not going away, so I accept this about you.
I'm not saying that it would be good. I don't think that it would be good for me, for her, or for society at large. But I can't help who I have a crush on. Yeah.
So then in that case, we can go back. We can agree on Hornet. But you were saying you feel about Hornet similarly to the way you feel about this kitty? Which is not a connection I'm making myself. Yeah. So you're going to have to elaborate.
Both just, like, they're both powerful women.
Women in STEM. Like, women in male-dominated spaces.
Women in STEM, stabbing, touching. I should have come up with them before I started speaking. Okay, one more from Aviary Attorney, and I don't know if this is just top of mind because we played Smash or Pass with the Aviary Attorney characters, but JJ Falcon as well.
The little one? Or the... No, he's not the assistant. Character. He's the main guy. Okay. Yeah, yes. That's fair. He's so troubled.
That's why I'm surprised you're not more interested in him.
Well, he's like... I do love a troubled character, and I also love a pathetic character. But he's a particular combo of troubled and pathetic that I'm a little like, it's leaning too much on the pathetic in that I actually feel he's a little pitiful versus being attracted to it. Mm-hmm. Sorry, JJ.
Who's your next one?
Who is my next one? I also wanted to go back to... This is almost cheating, I feel, so you may have something to bring up from this game as well. But I was going to bring up Hades 2, which we spent a lot of time in early access on, and is now out for real. And I have not properly gone back to it since I think Robin and I streamed some of it. We were racing in the beginning of the game. But I have one main crush for me, and then one main crush that I ship for Mel. And my main crush for me is honestly Odysseus. This is where I am the most basic of basic bitches. But Odysseus, in the Odyssey himself, every woman he runs into falls in love with him, and I am not immune. I am not immune. So when I opened up Hades 2, the full version, when it finally came out, and Odysseus was there, and he was literally sparkling because they added a bunch of, like, shimmery effects to the character portraits. I was blown away once again. So
you're like, this is how he looks in my mind.
Exactly. And he's got this great voice, and I could listen to him talk all day, which he would do because he loves to talk about himself. Hubris was his main flaw that was always taking him down throughout. So, Odysseus. And in particular, I feel like I can claim him as a crush because he is not really a love interest for Melinoe in the game. So I can say that one, that's for me. That's another I would like to put on the roster.
Also, speaking of Hades 2, I had to double check his name because I could only think of Thanatos, who is not in Hades 2.
Yeah, his brother, half-brother.
Yeah, one of many brothers. Moros, I would say, is maybe my new crush from Hades 2. Simply because he's, like, uptight in a way that I want to fall to pieces.
Oh, you're like, I can get through that shell.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like there's, like, a Goodreads category or, like, something of, like, starchy to, like, desperate. And that's what I'm looking for.
Sorry, did you say starchy to desperate?
Yeah.
Am I making that up?
Like a very, like, starched, like I think it was in the content. I think this is from the Fated Mates podcast, actually. Like, it's, like, one of their categories they have recommendations for in romance novels of, like in historicals, like a very like starched shirt, like upright, proper kind of
I
person.
see. So this is all going back to like the unintentional Mr. Darcy archetype, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah.
And like everybody wants like the 1995 BBC miniseries Darcy like taken by surprise in his wet ruffly shirt. Have you seen this? Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean. I wonder, I guess I haven't played much more of Hades 2, but I guess you can do bath time with Moros. You get to see him with his hair down. It's mostly down anyway, but, you know. Okay, I understand. I understand the love. I can't say I ship it for Mel. You know, I'm very partial to Mel and Icarus, which was going to be like my side. Like, I feel like I have a crush on Icarus through Mel. I'm channeling that through her and their relationship.
Yeah. I'll say also, anti-crush of the year, a crush that I used to have and don't have anymore from Hades 2, is fucking Dionysus.
I like to pretend that didn't happen. I did finally. We talked about in our episode how you were like, Annie, you were not going to like what you see. And I did, when I finally got to that point, texted you, like, they massacred my boy. They massacred my boy. That is not a side of him that I wanted to see. Actually, I mean, I'm fine seeing that side of him, the, like, party boy, I don't want to acknowledge there's a war going on side. That's fine. The design? Off-putting. Where did his thigh circlet go? Where did his thigh circlet go? I'm just asking Supergiant some questions. Actually, one question. And that's the one. Anti-crush. Anti-crush. I don't even want, like, accepting a boon from him anymore. I'm like, just let me go.
Yeah.
Do you think they accept a boon option of put on pants? Because if that was an option, if he gave me that,
my
as,
run
like, a prize,
would be better
I'd take it.
if I didn't have to look at his fucking cheetah print bulge.
Put on a chitin, and then I'll be fine. Which is, you look confused. That's the little Greek dresses. It's the Greek version of a toga.
Great.
Sorry.
Glad you're being accurate.
I am.
About this cartoon man.
This is serious business, okay? They're all cartoon men to us.
Some of them are cartoon women. Thank you very much.
That's true. Some of them are cartoon women. Okay. So, who else?
What else did we play? Okay, we've covered Silksong for crutches. We've covered Aviary Attorney. Hades 2.
Blueprints, Dave the Diver, Dredge.
I kind of have a crush on the dad from Blueprints. He's not really in the game.
He's not really in the game. We have no idea what he looks like, actually.
He's not even that good he's in a picture. There's a picture of him.
Oh, there is one photo. You're right. I was going to say possibly Uncle Simon. Or rather, sorry, Uncle Herbert.
Your great uncle?
Yeah, who died and left you the house. You're making so many faces. I was saying possibly. There just aren't a lot of characters to have crushes on in that game. So if we had to think of something.
I don't want to force it.
No. I did want to throw in perhaps the Reprobate from Death of the Reprobate. Mostly because he's funny. I think I relate to him on like a very deep level, just for the level of frustration that he reaches throughout the game. So I think we'd have a fun time over drinks. He's not my one true love or anything, but crushable.
I might have said this at the time, but I feel like maybe this was about Renard Volpes, actually. But, like, I feel the same way about the Reprobate, where I would hook up with him and then regret it. But I don't know if he's a crush.
That's fair. You would in the moment be like, maybe this is fine, and then afterward be like, absolutely not. I think those are most of my crushes for the games that we played for the podcast, plus Silksong, which we've discussed a lot on the podcast but didn't play for the podcast.
Oh, I need to mention Giovanni from Infinity Nikki.
Fair. I actually crushed on him vicariously through the things that you told me about Giovanni.
I guess this wouldn't... Well, he's back. He's back in the game, wearing a stupid hat. That he was given by children, so, like, fine.
So does he canonically think the hat is stupid also?
I think he thinks the hat is a little silly, but he was like, fine, I'll take it from these children and I'll engage in their game that they're playing, which is sweet of him.
For the people, can you explain a little bit about Giovanni?
Sure. Yeah, Giovanni I was first introduced to him last year because he is a main character, sort of, in the main story of V1 of Infinity Nikki. Oh gosh, but I mean, if anyone cares about Infinity Nikki, spoilers, skip this part. But you are introduced to him initially as someone who sells this special paper that you can make like animated origami birds out of. And then turns out he's a villain. And when he's in villain mode, his hair is slicked back and he looks pretty hot. So I don't ship him with Nikki because I strictly adhere to the belief that Nikki is 100% a lesbian, as has been developed by the previous Nikki games. But for my viewing pleasure, I have a crush on Giovanni.
Out of these crushes that we've discussed, because unless you have one that you really want to throw in there. So I'll
mention one more because I just told my fiance that when we win an award for podcasting, I would shout him out in my acceptance speech.
Uh-huh.
I will say one of my video game crushes, is the character that he made for himself in the remake of Tony Hawk 3 and 4.
The heck? Okay.
Because he looks really cute in it, and he was doing a really good job skateboarding.
Nice. Okay. Does this character have a name other than Rob?
No, it's Rob.
Okay. Cool. So, all of the crushes on the list. Rob, but the Tony Hawk version.
Yeah.
Renard Volpes, the bitchy cat from the same game, who we don't remember the name of. It's definitely like something meow.
Yeah.
Something meow. Princess Silksong, Hornet herself. And then all of the others. Which one really wins for you? Because I honestly think it's Hornet. For me.
Yeah, I think it's Hornet. Just in terms of, like, being obsessed with a character. Definitely Hornet.
Like, she's maybe not the actual biggest romantic crush for me. That might just be Odysseus, because, again, I can't be trusted with my own taste. But Hornet's the best. She would beat them all in a fight, and therefore she must be the best.
Yeah.
I also really love, and I know that, like, I've been sending you and also Robin some of the screenshots that I've taken of this, but I love reading her thoughts in the Hunter's Journal about enemies because it reveals so much about her, and I love learning more about her at every turn. Like, how she grew up, how she thinks. So much is revealed just in those little notes. So that's why Hornet. And I can't wait to see how her journey ends when I finally finish freaking Silksong one day.
Okay, how crazy would this be? You finish Silksong, a cutscene starts. It's you as a little bug marrying Hornet at an altar.
And I would be fine with that. If my bug Sona, should I start designing my bug Sona now so that I can 100%, draw this for
and you should
myself
pay someone on the internet $500 to do a commission of it.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, if we ever get sponsored by perhaps San Pellegrino, Dramamine, if Dramamine starts actually functioning as a medicine for me, also Tokidoki, after I buy a Steam Deck, I will... Sorry, we haven't thought of purchases for you if we get sponsored.
That's okay.
I feel like...
That's okay. No, I support this. That our number...
Our entire budget.
Yeah,
number 2 thing.
Our top priorities. 1, get Annie a Steam Deck. 2, a lot of money on a Bug Sona drawing.
Yes. Okay, so maybe we'll make it at least like we each get a Bug Sona and then we're all getting married to Hornet in the drawing.
Oh my god. You want to get married to me and Hornet?
Well, it's more like it's a V-shaped throuple situation, not a triangle.
I see. Okay.
So, like, as much as I love you, we aren't connected to each other in the marriage, but we are both married to Hornet. So it's polygamous, but for her.
Sister wives rather than
yes,
a true love triangle.
Correct. Sorry if I got your hopes up there for a second.
Whatever, it's fine.
So those are our video game crushes of the year.
Yeah.
With again.
Locking it in. Hornet is our video game crush of the year.
Hornet Silksong herself. Now that that's decided, officially and for real, we can move on to the next category, which is an extremely important one, especially in the recent, I guess, meta of our podcast, if you're paying attention. Best hole. The best one. Not just most important, best. Emmy, I open the floor to you first. This is your category, after all. The suspicious hole from Carimara.
Yeah.
We were just listening again to that episode. And that was a pretty good one. Had a surprise for us in it. There's of course also the blue hole from Dave the Diver. Again, a recent phenomenon. I was thinking back further to actually Drova, which you didn't play a lot of. But Drova, and stay with me here, is actually full of many caves, which are simply only as a concept hole adjacent.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
A cave...
Holes rotated by 90 degrees.
Right, like a cave is a hole in a wall, but I figured if the suspicious hole counted, because it was a hole in a wall in Carimara, then the many caves of Drova could perhaps also count.
Yeah, but is there a particular best cave in Drova?
My favorite particular best cave, I don't remember the exact name of it because it was quite a long time ago now that I played, but my favorite one was the one that you get kidnapped to and then have to break out of. That's like a whole big side quest thing. There are also many, and these would just count as holes, there are also many like hideaways of the ancients that you open up, and many of those were like staircases down into a depth, and then you would find treasure in said barrows, holes. So I would like to throw Drova in there as a game that we can think of as a game that involves holes. Even though perhaps it isn't one that you would think of.
Also on fishing, there's that big hole in Dredge. And there's an area where there's like a big monster.
You know, this is something we learned when we were discussing Dave the Diver titles. I looked up the blue hole because we had wanted to put that in the title in some way, and we didn't end up doing that. But a blue hole is actually like a not maritime, but like an oceanology concept. It's a category of like a geological formation in the ocean. So that island, was it like the Starry Isles or something? The Stellar Basin.
Oh, yes, yeah. I thought you were still talking about Dave the Diver.
No, but the Stellar Basin in Dredge is indeed a blue hole as well. So that's actually a good contender.
So not just best hole, best blue hole.
Best blue. Okay, so we could even have.
We can narrow. No, okay, let's narrow it down. Which of the two blue holes that we've talked about in the podcast is the best? The blue hole from Dave the Diver or the blue hole in Stellar Basin?
I have to think so hard about this because they actually both. I was about to say, oh, the Stellar Basin is cooler because it contains like a portal to an eldritch being, but the blue hole in Dave the Diver also contains portals and eldritch beings. It's a whole world down there.
I think you get the sense of the blue hole better in Dredge. Because you can be outside of it, versus in Dave the Diver, it's just like the whole thing is called the blue hole.
True. It's a very specific biome. How about this? What I didn't like, or rather, it was an important part of the gameplay, so I can't say they should have just gotten rid of it entirely. But what was a little tiresome after a time about the Stellar Basin in Dredge was that you had to keep resetting that like alarm so that you could actually fish in the middle of that blue hole. Otherwise, you would get pulled into the depths by an eldritch being. Dave the Diver didn't have that caveat, so I think we'd have to vote for Dave the Diver's blue hole, despite having a special place in my heart for the Stellar Basin.
I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Oh, you're on the Stellar Basin side.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about Pajama Sam.
Oh yeah,
There's
Pajama Sam's got a
Sam as
hole
well.
in Pajama Sam, yeah.
Because you fall through a hole in the closet into the world of the closet.
Yeah, I would say the hole in Pajama Sam is superior to the other hole. Well, I don't know. Suspicious Hole is still up there.
Are there any, like, in blueprints that we should be considering?
Oh, there's like, I don't know, there's the hole that the elevator goes through in the foundation.
That's actually a really important one. Foundation.
I don't think of it as much of a hole, though.
It's a chute.
Yeah. What about the hole you were clearly falling through in the late game of Blueprints?
I genuinely was about to say, okay, but what about the cracks in the foundation I fell through to get Fallen a Day 50 times? I was playing then on my laptops. That was probably a contributing factor to the reappearance.
Think about how great it's going to be when Dirigiblocks comes out and you can play it on your gamer rig. As it deserves.
We have a lot of holes to consider now. So which one takes the top spot for you? Not just blue hole. Top spot.
I think it has to be Suspicious Hole for me.
All right.
That's what I was thinking about when I thought of best hole was Suspicious Hole.
You were like, this one's a lock already. Don't even need to discuss.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I do think I would probably have to say the blue hole. Because I like the color blue. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
And I learned something new about maritime geology from it as well. And I do love learning a new thing.
You shouldn't discount something that makes you learn. Dave the Diver is an edutainment game.
It is a little bit. A little bit. As long as it doesn't also make kids think that there are, like, sea people living below the ocean, we're probably good. Our next category is favorite game that Annie, me, played on stream this year with Robin B of Girl Mode, which we will also link to. Because if you're listening to this podcast and you don't watch me and Robin stream yet, you should. We're really fun and we're funny. And a couple weeks ago, I even did an unboxing on stream of some Tokidoki Unicornos Emmy sent me. And I had a great time with that. Cannot guarantee there will be more unboxing content because I don't have the budget for that. However, it's not just video game streaming. It's time with our sparkling personalities. So, favorite game that was played on stream this year. I have a couple ideas actually already, but as a watcher, as a viewer, I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to discuss this as a consumer of the stream, as I often am because I support you and I support women.
Thank you. Thank you for supporting women.
I really liked Squirreled Away. That's pretty recent, and you guys have played a lot of it, and I've forgotten everything else that you've streamed. So,
Squirreled Away was a recent, very good one, actually. That took me by surprise. Robin was the one who had wanted to play that and had it bookmarked for a while just because it's fun to be squirrels. And the ending of that, we had joked like the week before, like, haha, what if the ending is you just ascend? And then we literally did ascend to Squirrelvana with the giant golden acorn in the sky. I don't think that one is my favorite, though. My vote for my favorite is probably... So Peak is up there.
Oh, Peak.
Because I had so much fun with Peak at like the beginning of when we were streaming. That kind of coincided really nicely with the launch of that game. That got me into it. But I think FlyKnight is one of my real favorites.
See, I didn't see you guys stream FlyKnight, so it's not in contention for me.
Yeah, that one was a really fun... It was billed as kind of a Souls-like because there's like fighting and parrying in the fighting style, but you play as bugs whose wings have been stolen by the evil moth, Luna something. And so it's a co-op where you can play as a knight and a fly with your friend. And it was a pretty short game. Like, there were only a few main areas. We ended up beating it. Very cool fight in the end. Cool weapon combos. Fun dialogue. And overall really good vibes from a low poly game. I had so much fun with FlyKnight. And it was really satisfying to beat it. So that's my vote.
I saw the end of you guys playing FlyKnight, but just the very end. Ooh, okay, another one I really enjoyed watching you two stream, because it seemed just very silly and fun, was Kaiju Cooking Simulator.
Oh, yeah. That one doesn't take the top spot for me, because you didn't ever end up joining us for a game of that one,
No.
right? The freaking large rats in the dungeons in that game. There is no way to attack them, but they can attack you and steal things that you're holding. So they would make off with the food that we were trying to take out to the surface to feed to the kaiju, so the kaiju didn't eat us. They would steal our weapons, which sometimes were in very short supply. They would steal our torches, and sometimes you just couldn't see anything in those dungeons if your torch was gone. So that was like genuinely, if they don't patch in some kind of way to attack those rats back, I'm done. This is a
They've
rare
lost
negative
your
review.
business.
This is a rare negative review of a rat actually coming from us. Otherwise, we're pretty pro rodent on this podcast. Yeah. But that's why Kaiju Cooking, like, that one we didn't even end up beating, I think, partly because both Robin and I were like, we can't do this anymore, man.
Yeah.
Can't deal with the freaking rats.
If I were going to play it, I wish that it would have more focus on the cooking aspect than, like, I think a lot of it was like going and fighting and discovering things, and I wish it had a little bit more complexity to the recipes and a little bit more of the ingredient gathering. But I was really fond of the fact that, like, seasonings just, like, dripped down from a portal in the ceiling. I thought that was so stupid and great.
And so you, as an adventurer, would end up seasoned, and then things you picked up would also be seasoned.
Like, walk into a butter shower while you're trying to appease a kaiju.
Yep. So that one I liked the idea. The execution ended up being a little janky for us to continue with it. So that's why FlyKnight still gets my vote, because it just worked as well.
Yeah. I think I also enjoyed, part of what I enjoyed was watching you two figure it out, because it was like, what's going on? I always like when you're playing multiplayer stuff, like also with Peak, where you, Annie, are failing at something, and Robin is just like, Annie,
this does happen quite a lot. Although a lot of my troubles with Peak were back when I was on my laptop, and genuinely it wasn't my fault. I could blame the controller, and now everything is my fault, officially, because my controller, my computer, whatever, most of it works. Except I do still have issues with my Switch controller connecting to my PC. That's something I should figure out. But maybe I shouldn't figure out, so that I always have a scapegoat. It's nice to have a scapegoat for my lack of skill.
I think I'm with you that maybe Peak was my favorite for you to watch, because I think there's just a lot of, well, and also because I played with you a few times, and that was really fun, and it's just like there are a lot of like laugh out loud moments where sitting at my computer watching you two stream and folding laundry or whatever, it made me like have to like lay face down on my bed a little bit.
I'm so glad we could do that for you. I mean, I was really laughing too at the same time, so good. We should get you in on the stream more often if you can. Like, if your computer
I know. Well,
sometimes
it's just because I don't have a setup, but maybe when the Steam machine comes out and I have that option for a gaming PC, it'll be a better situation.
We just need to find out what the price on that thing is.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the deciding factor, I feel.
Yeah.
All right, our next category is the game that we just kept playing this year that we could not put down. I definitely have distinct phases with games, like where there's one that I just will not put down, and then one day suddenly I put it down and don't pick it up again. I already feel like I know your answer.
I have a couple things.
Oh, okay.
There's probably one clear winner, but I have a couple.
I have two guesses for you then, because
Okay.
I think I can guess what yours are, and then you can try to guess what mine are.
Okay.
Balatro and Infinity Nikki are my guesses for you.
Yeah, I actually wasn't even thinking about Balatro.
Oh,
Now we're back to being like, no, I wasn't saying that because I was like, I'm right and you're wrong. I just was like, how do I normally say it? I wasn't even thinking about Balatro, but that is also true. I was playing it like yesterday. And I almost wonder if we should do another episode about it because I was like doing such a shit job of playing that like week or two before we talked about it. And now I feel like I have a better appreciation for it now that I've like beaten all the decks and beaten all of the stakes for like at least one of the decks.
I don't think I actually have a lot more to say about Balatro because I mean
Yeah.
I did have my very intense Balatro phase and then I put it down and I'm over it now.
It's just really good on mobile, I think is the difference. It's great to like if I'm like sitting on the bus or I'm waiting in like a longer line, I have enough time to like get at least halfway through a run of Balatro.
That's fair. Most of my like I feel like you commute on public transit more often than I do. Like my work commute is in a car, so I can't be playing games when I do it. Otherwise maybe Balatro would have had more staying power for me. I did put in many an hour, but for better or for worse, I'm just like I also have phases with, as we've talked about, Tetris 99 or even Minesweeper. Sometimes I'll go really in on Minesweeper. I will put on, again, this is unhealthy. I will put on some pop song that I'm obsessed with at the moment, and I will put that on repeat. No other songs in the mix. And I will just play Minesweeper for like a couple hours and then go to bed. So maybe Balatro could become that for me at some point in the future. But no. Do you have guesses for what mine are?
I think yours are peak. Although in a way I feel like it kind of, well, no, it counts. I was going to say maybe it doesn't count because it's like also influenced by streaming and like, but I feel like the way you felt about peak is like you kept going back to it. And Silksong.
Yes and yes. I would say yes and yes. Although there's one that I haven't talked about a lot, so I'll also throw that in there once I explain my feelings on those two a little bit. But yeah, Peak is something that I was just jonesing for, and I still do, and I wish it didn't make me so ill rapidly as it does now. I would love to be able to play it more than I have now. I've also tried doing like solo runs, and those have gone badly, partly because they introduced, partly because I get ill, but also partly because they have a new mushroom forest area, and I am not good at surviving in there yet. There are zombies, and also bugs that attack you. But, which actually I haven't turned on bug phobia mode for that area yet, so I wonder if it just looks like a bunch of little frogs are attacking you instead.
I think, don't
Like
they
with
replace them with
bongs.
Bing Bong?
Yeah, so it should be Bing Bongs.
Yeah.
Peak, Silksong, yes, is a song, or not a song, well, it's a song that I can't stop listening to, a game that I can't put down, and I know I'll put it down eventually once I get to the very end and feel satisfied, but I play a little bit of it every day. And I've been feeling good about doing that because it's like a comforting world that I live in now. And I know it's weird to call that sort of game comforting because it's like difficult and scary everywhere you go, but I really like it. And then the one that I've actually been returning to, not a lot, like I don't play it every day, but do you remember Tiny Garden?
Yes, I remember you mentioning it, and I wanted to play it. I do still want to play it.
The premise of the game is you have this little like Polly Pocket-esque like openable device that has a garden inside, and there's kind of like a meta story about how this device has been passed down in your family, but the main gameplay is that you're growing a tiny garden inside this like Polly Pocket device. And there's some puzzle aspects where if you plant the plants in a certain way with this certain biome, then you unlock more furniture to decorate the house part of the device with, or stickers for the outside of the device, or you unlock some of the story. And I unlocked all of the plants at a certain point. I unlocked a lot of the lore, but every so often I really open that one up again and just like play around with some of the puzzles a little bit or customize with the furniture. It's really cute and kind of calming and easy to have as a small thing on your computer. Very low like load game. Like my laptop could handle it just fine. So yeah, Tiny Garden is a surprise winner in there for me.
Yeah. I'll say the other one that we haven't talked about, and we haven't talked about on the podcast, I think at all, except maybe when it was upcoming, was Fantasy Life I. I played like
Oh, yeah, wait, I went through such
170 hours of Fantasy Life I.
Why was I so addicted to Fantasy Life It really did take over my life for a minute there. It faded so fast, too. I'm really sitting at, like, the very end. Like, I could beat the final boss, and I just haven't.
I finished it. It has, like, a post-boss game. Like, you could just go right back into it.
So, yeah, overall, I think Silksong still wins out, and I hate being like, Silksong wins this category, because Silksong gets to win every category at every award show ever, probably, this year. Not just our dinky little discussion. But it might be Silksong for me overall. But okay, again, it's the recency bias.
Yeah. One more I'll say is Hades 2. Even though once it actually officially came out, I feel like I was kind of forcing myself to finish it a little bit. But over the past year, and like since it came into early access, I played a lot. I think I probably ended up playing like 130 hours of it. And I would play it, I would put it down, pick it back up when a new update came out. And we talked about it on the episode. Like, I really enjoyed that process and getting to see the additions they were making and the updates. So that's definitely one that I just kept playing.
In that case, since it's sort of decided for the both of us, we can talk about the next category, which actually I'm unfortunately more informed on than you are in terms of this particular game. But I did want to name a least fuckable Silksong boss. I truly, really do. I think this is actually a really... There's a lot of bosses that we could talk about. We could definitely... There's some pretty easy contenders for most fuckable. And there's actually one in particular that I would love to name to you, but I can't because it's an Act 3 boss. But you're gonna love her when you get to her. She's amazing. Okay. She's gorgeous. She's got a great theme. Whatever. However, least, I feel like a lot of those are early and quite accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So before I wanted to put forth my actual most hated, least fuckable boss, I wanted to know if you had any thoughts.
Yeah, I think those like twin big bugs that have the pointy, they're kind of like a mini boss. They're not quite a full boss, but with the pointy like cone tails that they fire off.
The conch flies.
Yeah, which actually are not that hard to beat, so I don't hate them that much, but not at all fuckable.
Well, now that I didn't make the face I was thinking I was making necessarily, but the second you mentioned them, I was like, sharp. Like,
yeah,
it's just
sharp bugs. I mean, I guess we did say that our favorite crush was Hornet, who is also a bug.
Yeah,
they're all bugs, but
no prejudice against bugs here on that count. But yeah, I do see where you're coming from. However, the cute thing about those bosses is that they're in a relationship and then you kill one and the other one gets mad at you and comes back later and tries to kill you because you killed their one true love. So I can appreciate that maybe they find each other fuckable.
Do you know it's their one true love? Do you learn that, or are you just assuming?
It says that in the Hunter's Journal that like they mate for life. So
I see. I thought that maybe they were siblings.
No, they're in love. Or they weren't
until
you killed them.
Siblings. You don't know.
We don't know. You don't see any other of the giant. But yeah, one flies away and then becomes the enraged conch fly, and you have to beat them again later. So Act 1 spoilers. Did you ever find disgraced chef Lugoli? Because that's the person I want to put forth. Okay. Did you get to Sinner's Road?
Yes, but I think I decided to come back to it. I was like, I should go do other stuff because I felt like I wasn't able to get to. Actually, no, Sinner's Row, I think Road, I was able to get through stuff, but like the one after it, maybe I wasn't able to really get anywhere. And I looked it up and I was like, I should be doing the final judge first.
I would like to give them a like side award for best boss name because I think it's an incredible boss name. Disgraced Chef Lugoli.
Can I hold on? I'm gonna look them up really quick. So
yeah, look them up really quick, and then I will talk about why they are the least fuckable to me. And there are 2 specific reasons. You already look so unhappy.
Ugh. Ugh.
I'm kind of of glad that this gets to be your introduction. This is in real time.
I mean, I love him, but I do not want to fuck him.
Love him and also cannot stand him. He's got lore, and I love lore, but his backstory is that he was a chef in the Citadel until he was caught making unspeakable meals and then was punted from the Citadel, banished.
Unspeakable meals.
And then you find him in the Sinner's Road. You can only fight him once you get the double jump, because then you can reach his kitchen. You might have seen, so there are two like sous chefs that attack you first before you fight him, and so you might have seen a gif of them around like on Silksong posts, because it has become a little bit of a meme because they like turn away from the meat they're chopping to look at you before the battle starts. And then once you defeat them, Lugoli comes into play. The reason he is least fuckable to me is, first off, the unspeakable meals that he's making is cannibalism. And you're gonna say, wait, Annie, I thought you loved cannibalism. Which is true. I am a hypocrite. But for some reason, the bug cannibalism really was gross to me in a way that is not usually, because it wasn't done from a place of, like, highest love. This isn't even like Brian Fuller's Hannibal kind of cannibalism. It was just gross. It wasn't even gourmet. And then the second reason is, during his boss fight, he throws the baby, like, muckroaches at you, and so you end up infected. You know how, like, when you're in the biowater and whatever, you end up infected and you can't heal. And that really, really enraged me. I was too angry, and not in a sexy way, to be enjoying that fight. I was so, so happy when it was over. I didn't want anything to do with disgraced Chef Lugoli from then on out.
Yeah, he looks like he would give you an infection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's my least fuckful Silksong boss. That's what I'm putting forth. And I am a little sad, actually, that now that I think about it, I can't share with you what, like, the most fuckable Silksong boss is. Also, I can tell you some others that I considered. The Skull Tyrant, mostly because I can't figure out what, like, the logistics would be with that bug.
Yeah, so just purely from a practical perspective.
Like,
yeah.
Not that, like, the attraction wouldn't be there, just, like, it physically maybe couldn't work out. That was one of the other ones I considered throwing in there. Also, I forget the name of her, but the Shellwood, like, wooden vine bug. Mostly because, like, I guess that would be categorized as perhaps, like, a gilf, and that's just not my thing. So those were some others that I was, like, I had percolating before we got here.
I think the one I wasn't thinking of was not Moss Mother. It's like the big, like, it flies around and hits, like, it does, like, the big branches that come down.
Yes. But what is her name?
Splinter. I was thinking of Splinter.
Sister Splinter. So not a mother, but a sister.
Yes, a sister, not a mother.
So those were, like, my runners up.
Yeah. Also, the Beast Fly. Just another, like, very round, squishy seeming bug.
I can't say that one makes my short list on this category. Actually, I can kind of see the... Sorry.
Okay. I feel like it's very similar to the conch flies, but...
Oh, but he's not pointy.
Yeah, but it's not really about the pointiness of the... It's, like, about the roundness.
Interesting. Okay, maybe we have different issues when it comes to the conch flies, then. The other one that actually sucks, that I don't remember the name of him, but it's the one that's on the way to the wormways, and he just stays on the ceiling and spits at you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that either.
Yeah. I don't mind that one.
Okay. All right. You don't want to elaborate on that?
No, I don't think I have a particular reason why. I'm just like, I'm fine with him.
Okay.
Okay, so who are we locking in as least fuckable Silksong boss?
I'm locking in disgraced Chef Lugoli.
Yeah.
Had the gall to be a cannibal and not even be hot about it. Yeah. That is his crime.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I haven't interacted with him because I don't have the double jump yet. But that makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you for hearing me out on this one. Okay. Now we come to an actual very serious category, which is our favorite Emmi and Annie Talk Indie episode of the year. And here we can talk a little bit about like our favorite, and we can also reveal our most listened to episodes and even least listened to episode.
Everyone's been clamoring for it. They said, Emmi, Annie, what's your most listened to episode? What are your Buzzsprout stats? Please tell us.
And we're finally going to satisfy those people, those many, many people who have wanted to know.
They won't leave us alone.
I would like to reveal the most listened to episode of Emmi and Annie Talking to You.
Sure.
And the most listened to episode, funnily enough, and this surprised me too, it's our Ravenhearst and Pajama Sam episode. That one has more listens than any other episode, including our very first one, which I assumed it would be our first one because I figure people listen to episode 1 and then fall off, right? But no, it's Ravenhearst and Pajama Sam. I think that we can partly account for this because for a long time when we took our break and like over the summer, it was our latest episode listed for quite a while. So if people were finding us for the first time, they might have started there. But it has stayed on top even as we've released a lot more episodes after that. Which is pretty neat. I wonder if people have a lot of like nostalgia for Pajama Sam as well, and that kind of attracted them to it.
Well, and I wonder if it's also like not nearly as many people are talking about Pajama Sam as they are talking about Balatro. So if you're just searching, like if you are searching by game, we're probably one of the first to come up for that versus like the tons and tons of game podcasts that talked about like Balatro and Blueprints.
That's true. So we are a destination for Pajama Sam likers, hopefully, in our interpretation.
I would say I'm one of the top 5% Pajama Sam likers in the world.
I would agree. I think that that's probably true. I certainly can't name anybody else I know who likes Pajama Sam more than you. And I know a lot of people. After that, our most popular episode is the very first episode, which again makes sense to me. But then the other two that are quite high up there are, and this is the part that doesn't surprise me, it's our first Blueprints episode, like the Journey to Room 46, and Balatro. Those are the ones that are really up there, and it makes sense. Those are probably the two most popular games that we played this year that we also did an episode about, and we sort of released them around the same time that they were popular with other people.
Our least popular episode right now is the Dave the Diver episode, but I think that doesn't really count because it's just our most recent episode. I guess by the time this comes out, Carimara will be our most recent episode, but it just hasn't had the time. But past that, Death of the Reprobate is our least popular episode, which is too bad because I think it's a really good episode.
I agree. And that's the one that I was definitely going to bring up as one that I feel deserves more love. I think we had a really good conversation about it. I think the game is great. I often have, when I've like introduced new friends to what we're doing, I've been like, hey, listen to maybe this one first, because I think you'll get a really good idea of who we are and how we think from it, but also get to learn about a really cool game that has other games in the series. So I would be happy if we played the other games in the series at some point and talked about them. Or hopefully the creator has a new game coming out at some point that we can also play. No pressure. I'm not trying to make indie devs crunch on themselves to get us more content. But also
solely determined by whether or not Annie mentions it.
The princess demands that you make her another game, sir.
Yes.
And we will be we can tag people. We have that power on the internet. We can be like, we want more games from you, please. In a polite fashion.
Okay, so what's your favorite then?
We've
talked about
episode.
The most popular and least popular, but what's your personal favorite?
Death of the Reprobate is up there, but I actually think one of my favorites to do was the Europa and Mouthwashing episode, because we were really able to tell each other a story through it. And I also did get to hear about a game that I really had no intention of playing myself, but I'm still glad that you played it and enjoyed it and you were able to tell me. And then I also enjoyed the Mouthwashing journey for myself, even though in the end I could not actually finish the game myself because I was too bad at one mechanic. That was embarrassing.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorites. But I think also, like, the episodes that I'm most proud of for us so far are the Blueprints ones, because it was so much of a struggle to achieve. Like, not just the experience of playing it together and how formative that was, but also just, like, the recording struggles we went through behind the scenes, the editing that we had to do to get them in shape. And then also I think I'm proud of how hard we worked to be able to transmit that information about the end game for the part 2 episode, even though the fewer people have, like, listened to the part 2 episode, because I assume most people kind of stop around Route 46. Yeah, those are my favorite ones that I have a lot of pride about for us.
Yeah. I like that way of thinking. I wasn't thinking about it that way, but I like that way of thinking about it, because Blueprints was the one we came back with after we took a break. We didn't mean to take a break for as long as we had, but we kept being like, I want to finish Blueprints, and it's taking see everything that we can see in Blueprints, and it was taking a lot longer than we thought. That was, like, a lot of work, and I'm really proud that we, like, because we could have just, like, taken the break and just not gotten it together to come back, and then this would have just faded away, and that would be a bummer. But, like, we didn't, and we came back, and I think that that's great. So I agree.
We climbed that mountain.
Yes. I also really liked Europa and Mouthwashing. I think it was the first time we tried that format of telling each other about a game and found that we really liked it. And I think it structures the episode well. So I also really like Ravenhearst and Pajama Sam for the same reason. And also for the same reason of, like, that was a very cursed recording. So that was a lot of work to put it together. And a lot of, like, recovering from feeling cranky and just looking at our other episodes. I also really liked Slay the Princess because I just really enjoyed talking about it.
So we don't necessarily have an official favorite, but those are my favorite. You're not supposed to pick favorite children, but those are mine.
Yeah,
out of our children together, Emmy, which are episodes.
Honorable mention, because, like, it doesn't exactly fit in the category, but was our episode that we did with Girl Mode.
Yes, oh, true. And we're going to have Robin on at some point for this. That's one of our other New Year's resolutions. Yeah, I was thinking, I guess I didn't mention Many Nights a Whisper when I was mentioning, like, other, like, things that have come up or that I've gone back to. I haven't really gone back to that, but that was a really good game that I played to be able to talk about it with Robin on that episode. So that was also just, like, a pivotal point in the year, I felt. It was just good. Mm-hmm. Like, if Robin hadn't asked us to be on Girl Mode, then we wouldn't be streaming together and be friends now. So it was just wonderful. Mm-hmm. Shout out Girl Mode. Listen to them too.
Okay. So, yeah, I feel like we can't pick just one favorite episode because we need to love all of our children equally. But do we want to move on? Though. Yeah, shout out Blueprints, which I feel like will also lead us well into the next category, which is favorite game that we played for the podcast this year.
I think it'll have to be Blueprints for me. Not even because in the end I had such, like, mixed feelings about it and its philosophy of gameplay and how it affected me emotionally throughout the experience. But yeah, maybe Blueprints because it was the deepest dive we've really done. What about you?
I think it's hard to beat Blueprints because we both were, like, having such a good time and so feeling so into it that we were like, we really want to finish this and be able to talk about it in as much depth as we can. And then I, like, really treasure so much the time that we spent playing it together and, like, on the phone. And, like, it was just so fun, but it felt so nostalgic too. And
it almost felt like living together again.
Yes, it really did. And that was really nice.
I kind of consider us at this point some of the preeminent Blueprint scholars on the internet. To the point where I feel very protective of the game. Like, when I see reviews from other people, not that these other people aren't actually more informed than me, because they probably are, or they have other, like, professional qualifications and work in the games industry, and I don't. I'm not any of these things. This is complete delusion on my part. But I feel I'm like, but they can't say that about Blueprints because they didn't play it like we did. They didn't release 4 hours of a podcast about it like we did.
Yeah.
They
Well,
should
we
be
have
consulting us.
we have the privilege of being able to completely determine our own release schedule and how long we're going to spend on something, so I can't fault people that much. But I know what you mean.
I'm just like, they can't go. Simon P. Jones is my son. They can't go on the internet and be wrong about that.
I think we can both agree that Blue Prince is for sure the winner of this category, but let's talk about some honorable mentions.
Drova is honestly one of my honorable mentions. I've thought about it for a year. I think it had an impeccable atmosphere. The pixel art was so lush and beautiful. Like, I would love to study it. I liked the story. I liked the combat. Clearly, I liked the combat well enough that I was willing to, like, push through moments where I absolutely shouldn't have, because it was that satisfying to achieve things even when I didn't have the power to do so. That's mine. I want to shout out Drova. It was really, really cool. I hope that studio makes something cool again so I can play more from them. Otherwise, I'll just play Drova again.
Yeah. I think other ones, Ravenhearst. It was fun to, I mean, I think this goes hand in hand with doing that episode, but it was fun to play something that I was not familiar with that is from your childhood and hear about your experience playing it and what it meant to you.
And you unlocked new lore for me about where the Ravenhearst series went, because I had no idea it went that far.
Yeah.
We gotta do a Nancy Drew. Like, I have to play a Nancy Drew for you.
But you hate Nancy Drew, though. I mean, not Nancy Drew,
but I don't hate
the
Nancy
Drew games.
I just feel like they're really slow in a way
really
that irritates me. And maybe I'll look into it. Like, if there's a new version that goes faster because they updated some of the mechanics, maybe then it's fine.
It's less the mechanics and more that you can't, like, skip through dialogue quickly. That's the thing that slows it down. Yeah.
That was the main issue for me.
Okay, what about... So we talked about favorite game we played for the podcast. What about favorite game of the year?
I don't love Game of the Year as a category. We've talked about this before, right? Where it's like, how can you compare so many very different things to each other? This is a recency bias thing for me. And it's also not a game that came out this year. So partly I think I would just have to give it to Silksong because I've been so immersed in it since it came out for the past, like, 3 months. Another game I wanted to talk about is, okay, so for the purposes of video, I've got my Playdate with me here. The Playdate, for the unfamiliar, is a small, square, handheld gaming device that has a cranks. Mine is dead right now. Otherwise, I would turn on the screen and show it to Emmy.
Yeah, as a description of what Annie just did, she held up a tiny pizza box, opened the tiny pizza box.
Yeah, okay, well, I was going to get into...
Yes, which is a case for a Playdate. I was going to get into
the pizza box.
Oh, sorry. And then she cranked it a little bit.
I cranked it on screen. Anyway... And I also have this cool pizza box case. It looks like a classic pizza box, like the ones I grew up with in New Jersey, and it says delicious hot square on it, and it also says, you order them, we crank it out. I love this thing. It's perfect. The Playdate itself is also perfect. We're well into season 2 of games now. The way the Playdate worked on launches, there was, like, with the purchase of it, you would also be able to subscribe to, like, a game that came out once a month or something. And so season 2 is ongoing. Because I just got this at the beginning of this year, all of season 1 was pretty much already out. So I have been playing through the backlog of season 1 games. And I recently played what felt like a very special one called Saturday Edition. Did I tell you about it when I was playing it?
No.
It's a game by Wild Rose, which, as much as I can tell, was like basically like 2-3 people. Chris Macris being the story, graphics, music, and design person on the team. The premise of Saturday Edition is that the main character, this guy whose name is John Cornfield, was kidnapped by aliens in a very stereotypical, like, alien abduction story, and he lived with them for 5 years and loved living with them. But then eventually divisions within alien society happened and they sent him back home. And then he just had to resume life as if this had never really happened to him, this, like, blip, even though plenty of people in his town like had to live their lives without him. And another 10 years on from that, there's suddenly a bunch of disappearances again in his town, and people think that it's more alien abductions, like what happened to him. And he has his reservations about that because the disappearances don't seem the same as what happened to him. So you're kind of investigating what's going on in this town, while John also contemplates this huge thing that happened to him, changed his life, and then dumped him right back as if everything was just supposed to be the same. It was really, really cool. It was a really beautiful experience to play. It was short. I really liked the story. I really liked the mechanics, which mostly were just like, you walk around pretty slowly, talk to people, you gather evidence. And probably my favorite design choice was that, you know how in a lot of games when you talk to a character, like a portrait will come up of them, and that's what you're sort of interacting with on the side of their dialogue. Rather than a portrait, it would do a close-up of the character's eyes. Yeah, just like a really close-up on their eyes, which felt very intimate in a way that the small screen could accommodate and otherwise wouldn't. And I finished it like very late at night. I really got into this. I even brought this to work to play on my lunch break, which I hadn't been doing with a lot of the other games on here. So this is from like a few years ago now, and I looked up Chris Macris, and it seems like he teaches sometimes at NYU, but otherwise doesn't have another game that I can play. And it was just so special to me. So I wanted to shout out Saturday Edition in a kind of slow gaming way. I almost wish you had a play date so that we could talk more about what's available on this thing. Because I love how the small experience ended up feeling like a very big one for me. And it's one of those games where I played it and then I was like, damn, I wish I'd made that. I feel not capable of making the same thing, but I'm like, I aspire to that kind of economy and design. So that's my shout out. That's one of my favorite games I played this year. Didn't come out this year, is not super accessible because it's only on this one small console that like 3 other people own, but it was really beautiful.
I mean, I kind of want to get a play date to play Totally Accurate Kissing Booth Simulator,
which I purchased but have not played. I'm really glad you told me about it. So next time we visit each other, I will bring this with me so that you can try it out before you decide for yourself.
That's a good idea. Yeah, bring it to my wedding.
Yeah. Okay, but what about you? What game is your favorite that we didn't play for the podcast that you really loved this year?
You know, it might be Chef's Shift, which...
You have loved that one.
We did talk about on the Girl Mode episode that we did.
Yeah.
It's so hard to say, Chef's Shift. I just thought it was really interesting. I love a cooking game. It's a cooking... So for recap, it is a indie game... cooking game, and the mechanic for cooking food, or it's more of a restaurant sim, it's less cooking. The mechanism for picking up the food and delivering it to customers is typing. So each like piece of food will be labeled with a word, and you type the word to pick it up, and then you type the word above the customer to drop it off. And different customers have different rules about the text that they will produce, so it can get pretty challenging. Because it can introduce like symbols, stuff that you don't type as often, or all in like uppercase. I just thought it was really interesting and inventive and something I hadn't seen before. And the story was batshit, and I loved how wild it was. Like, it was like the craziest soap opera I'd ever seen. And there are some things that are a little rough around the edges about it, but I had just had a really good experience with it, and it stayed with me from a perspective, and I had a lot of fun playing it. It was just really fun.
I'm sorry I never really took up your recommendation of it. I liked hearing about it through you.
I mean, it's a pretty short game. I wish I had... Maybe I'll revisit it when I get my Steam machine. I've just decided that I'm going to get a Steam machine, and damn the cost. But also, please don't make it too
Not an if, but a
Steam.
when.
Yeah, or Valve, I should say. So, yeah, I think it might be that. I'm trying to think of other games I played a lot this year. Infinity Nikki. Fantasy Life I. But neither of them are very interesting. Infinity Nikki is interesting from, like, an academic perspective for me, of, like, being chock full of these, like, design tactics that make you spend money and the like hyper feminine aesthetic of it, while also being like AAA sort of quality graphics and scale of like the team making it. But it's not doing anything novel, I think. Well, to some extent it is it is a different kind of gacha game, and it is different from the perspective of, again, yeah, being this open world, huge scale, very like feminine coded. So that's sort of interesting, but not in the same way. Like, I think the Chef's Shift is doing something really cool and novel with their mechanics.
Beautiful. To wrap things up, were there any other forms of media, books, manga, movies, anything like that really stood out for you this year?
I think I've like consumed the Apothecary Diaries in every form it's available. So I watched the second season of the anime came out this year, and so I watched the first season and the second season. Really enjoyed it. My fiance was like too busy to watch it with me for a while, so I picked up the manga because I wanted to read ahead. And then actually the anime goes past the manga because it's all based on a light novel. And so recently, once I felt like I had had enough of a break from the anime and the manga, I picked up the light novels recently, and I'm now past where the anime ends in the light novels. So I just really I really like the Apothecary Diaries. I'm not alone in that. It like is, I saw something about
it did explode
of light novels or like copies sold of light novels, and Apothecary Diaries is like double the amount that all of the rest of the top 10 sold combined. It's like unreal.
I mean, I have talked about this in terms of like her obsession with Apothecary Diaries and my like distant interest, but I don't think I can do it. Too slow burn for me, like in a way that feels unrealistic. I'm kind of fine with slow burn if the main issue isn't just if they would talk to each other, but no. And from the outside, and from a like summary that I read, it seems like the main issue is they can't talk to each other, so no, like it won't happen. And
it's less
that's the thing.
That and more that like I love the main character of the Apothecary Diaries because she's just super dense, and like even if he did like express his feelings to her, and he will be very direct, and she's still just like whatever, or she's like in denial to some extent. So it's less a communication thing. And I also, for me, it's okay because like there's enough going on that it's something that's in the background and is a through line, but I'm continuing to read it because I enjoy the like it very much feels like and is like an episodic like detective show or series. So there's always like a mystery and some court intrigue, and then in the back you get your morsels of their interactions where you're like, whoa! So to me, that
I guess what I would want
works really well.
I guess what I would want is more focus on their interactions, and I wouldn't be able to sit through all the other stuff to get those crumbs.
Yeah, I went back to Kakurio Bed and Breakfast for Spirits recently, and I had Rob start watching it with me, and then we got halfway through and I was like, I'm bored.
Let's go back to Apothecary Diaries. Let's watch that again.
Yeah, which actually Kakurio is also a light novel. I'm trying to think of what other stuff this year that I started watching Heated Rivalry, which I would not necessarily recommend, but I'm having fun simply because I know several people who are watching it, and it's fun to be like,
so you've got the group chat about Heated Rivalry going.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Canadians. I have two things that I wanted to highlight from the year so far. I went and I looked back at my Letterboxd, which I keep pretty updated on stuff that I've watched, but not with reviews. I looked back at my log I keep of things that I've read. And I actually have not read a lot this year. A bit of a lost year for me in terms of reading things. But the book out of the list that I have here that has stayed with me the most out of all year was actually the very first book that I read this year, which was The Telling by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in like her Hainish cycle. So I forget, have you read The Left Hand of Darkness or The Dispossessed? Those two books are technically in the same series, like loosely linked, but set like centuries apart with none of the same characters. So this is another book in that series. And it's about a researcher for an like interplanetary alliance sent to this one planet in the alliance to study what it was like before they came into the alliance. And she discovers this whole oppressed religion. And it was a really, really good, well-told story that I still think about. So that's why, even though I read a lot of other good stuff this year, that one actually has really stayed with me because there were a bunch that I forgot I'd even read on this list, and that one I haven't forgotten even though it was a year ago now. So Ursula stays winning in my brain as per usual. Other thing that I watched this year that I really liked, this was also a lost year for me on movies. I just did not get to the theater as much as I wanted to. That is on me. That doesn't mean no good movies came out this year. For TV shows, as per usual, I have one little weird animated rec. It was on Cartoon Network / HBO Max, and it's called Common Side Effects. Have you watched this or heard of it at all?
No, sorry, I just forgot we were an audio medium and I just shook my head.
No, that's fine. Okay. Premise is Francis is an overworked assistant to a big pharma executive and is looking for any way to move up or get out. In that same time, she runs into an old high school classmate who she didn't even think about anymore, but it turns out he was extremely smart, researcher, and has been living sort of off the grid in recent years, researching specifically mushrooms, and seems to have discovered a mushroom that is like a panacea. Like it can bring you back from death. It can solve any sort of illness. And she sees this connection with him and the mushroom that only he has access to and can grow as like her ticket up and out. Things get more complicated though as more people find out about the mushroom's existence. The animation is so cool and so experimental at times. All of the voice acting is really great. It's like the perfect length, and it's getting a season 2, which is the most important thing because my previous weird little animated beloved series, Scavenger's Reign, should have gotten a season 2, but only got 1. At least this one is guaranteed season 2, although now I'm a little worried that with Netflix buying WB that this will just be a death knell for many of the weird little animation experiments that I love coming out of there. So hopefully that sticks, that we still get season 2. But that's one of the other things that has really stayed with me. It was when you mentioned
a weird little animated show, I thought you were going to say Scavenger's Reign.
Oh yeah, well that was last year. This is 2025.
Yeah. This is sort of, crosses this year, last year, but you saying mushroom made me think of it. I just really enjoyed Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites last year for sure. I love Delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah.
I miss them. I know that more of the anime is coming out, but I
Yeah.
read the whole manga, so I miss them.
Yeah. I have been debating if I want to read the manga or not. I have a board game to recommend, actually, that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get it this year? I have no idea when it came out, but we've been playing it this year. It's called Coffee Rush, and it's very fun because it's like a restaurant management sim, but a board game, and you get props, which I always appreciate in a game, where you get little coffee cups, and you get little ingredients, and to like fill orders, you have to like take turns moving around to get different ingredients, and it gets harder and harder. Your coffee orders pile up, and you have to put the ingredients in your little cup to complete the order. And I just really enjoy the little items and putting them in little cups. So if you want to put little ingredients in little cups physically, I would recommend Coffee Rush.
What if I just make coffee?
But is it little? If you make an espresso or a cortado.
I do have an espresso machine, but you make a very good point. Is it tiny? No.
Yeah, and are you getting the click clack of little plastic things hitting each other?
Another good point. Now I'm picturing though getting really tiny like doll-sized tea sets and putting like a single drop of espresso in it. for perhaps a mouse. I think I would really enjoy that. Like getting an eyedropper.
Yep.
Into the cup. So that's our 2025 in games and other media. Any other closing notes for the year?
Just that I know we're going to stop recording and I'll be like, oh my god, I forgot the biggest thing I played or watched or whatever this year. But it's fine.
You can post about it on Blue Sky afterward. It can be your comment
to my wide audience.
Out there. Yes. To our many, many clamoring commenters.
No, okay. I know the perfect way to wrap this up, which is that my favorite thing this year was recording this podcast with you.
Oh, see, I didn't actually even think that you were going to say that. I was just like, what are you going to say as you wrap it up? Honestly, really one of my favorite things too. I'm so proud of us for doing this and getting things out there and playing so much. It has brought a lot of joy into my life this year. And also to anybody listening, truly, oh my god, thank you for listening. I don't think that we thought literally anybody would listen aside from our family and friends. And thank you especially to family and friends who've been listening, but to the many people that we don't know who seem to have logged in and listened. That's amazing. Oh my god. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you for like watching Robin and I stream and hanging out in chat too. That has brought me a lot of joy this year as well. So I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna get teary a little bit. This is so nice. We can blame the gin and tonic for that. This is
yeah. Your single gin and tonic.
My one gin and tonic. It doesn't take a lot for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot. No. I didn't love 2025 as a whole for many reasons. I'm looking forward to the future for that reason. But I'm also really looking forward to the future because it will definitely have more Emmi and Annie talking to you. We have a lot more games to play.
Yay! Happy New Year!
Happy end of year. Happy New Year. Cheers with the last bit of my gin and tonic.
Yes.
Bye for now. Till next year.
See you next year.